Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope y'all are doing well. My name is Jordan Davidson, and this is Behind the Bench. Mississauga Steelheads had two games, both of which were playoff rematches from this past season. The defending OHL champion Hamilton Bulldogs came into town on Friday, and then on Saturday we traveled to Barrie to take on the Barrie Colts. I hope you like goals, because between the two games, there were 21 of them. Let's get into it. Before we get into the games, though, a little bit of business had to happen. Remember how we talked last week about the possibility of Kasper Larsen rejoining the team and what had to happen for that to occur? Well, one of the shoes has now dropped. Valdemar Hall has been claimed on waivers by the Niagara Ice Dogs, which has opened up the import spot to allow Kasper Larsen to take that. Of course, this past summer, Valdemar Hall was drafted by the Steelheads' second round of the import draft. He played 7 games with us. He picked up his first OHL assist with us. Very short time, but he was a very nice guy. I always enjoyed our interactions during his short time here. He moves on to the Niagara Ice Dogs now. He's played a couple games with them already. Wish Valdemar Hall the best of luck, and we'll see him when we see the Ice Dogs. Best of luck, man. So the Steelheads are still working on clearing the overage spot, but there is a bit of a loophole with the overage rule. You can, until the trade deadline, have 4 overagers on the roster, as long as only 3 dress for every game. So Kasper Larsen was able to make his season debut in Friday's game against the Hamilton Bulldogs with Jake Uberti sitting out for the couple of games this week. He was the odd overager out this week, so maybe he's the one they're looking at dealing. He was around this week, though, so we'll see how that works out. But in the meantime, Kasper Larsen is back, guys. Anyway, a few of the pregame sights and sounds from before Friday's game against the Hamilton Bulldogs. Here we go. There they are, 2018 OHL champions, and now the 2022 OHL champions as well. I guess it takes a little bit of time to update a bus like that, but yep. Bulldogs are here. Looking forward to tonight. What a difference a year makes, by the way. You know, after being the champions last year, the Bulldogs so far this year are 3-3 with only 6 points, which is good enough for last place in the Eastern Conference right now, going into today. So, they're missing a lot of their big guns, so it's not going to be the same team. Let's hope we can capitalize. As I was walking up to the Hamilton bus, I saw some guys in a car, and I don't know if they were trying to be funny or whatever, but they yelled at me, "Hey, are you Luca BELLUZ?" I mean, have you seen Luca BELLUZ? Come on, look at me. Luca BELLUZ is taller, younger, much more fit, and doesn't look like if Elton John were a hockey YouTuber. So, yeah, I'm flattered that anyone might possibly think I look like a hockey player, but yeah, come on, guys. Get the ball, get the ball. Good dog, good dog. Row, row, row. Oh, they see me. Guess who's back? Back again. Kasper's back. Tell a friend. Starting goalies were Alessio Beglieri for the Mississauga Steelheads and Matteo Drobak for the Hamilton Bulldogs. We heard the anthems, and then we got underway. Early on, the tone was set by a couple of Hamilton Bulldogs penalties. Noah Van Vliet took a cross-checking call at the 4:07 mark, and then at the 5:16, Artem Grushnikov took down Kai SCHWINDT. He was called for a slew foot, kicked out of the game, given a 5-minute major and a match penalty. Kai SCHWINDT came back to the box very gingerly, and I kind of felt his pain. I've been dealing with tension headaches all week, and I was still dealing with one on Friday. So to see the trainer, it wasn't Bina, by the way. I think Bina was away. Saturday I saw Bina with, a boot on his foot, so I think maybe he hurt himself or something. But anyway, the trainer that was there, massaging Kai's neck, and, as someone who's dealt with tension headaches for a long time, I felt that. Kai would be okay, though, as you would, just keep listening. It was near the end of the major penalty that the first goal of the game would happen. At the 9:49 mark, Luca BELLUZ is able to beat Drobak, give the assist to Owen Beck and James Hardy, and we had a 1-0 lead for the Mississauga Steelheads. Unfortunately, the Bulldogs would even it up a few minutes later on a power play goal of their own. Parker von Richter taking an interference call, and then at the 12:45 mark, it was Avery Hayes. We heard his name a lot last year. Beating Alessio Beglieri to tie the game, gave the assist to JORIAN Donovan and Logan Morrison, another couple of names we heard a lot last year, and we had a 1-1 game. Interestingly, despite the fact that it was the 12:45 mark, Avery Hayes actually scored on Hamilton's first shot of the game. Yes, it took Hamilton almost 13 minutes to get a shot on goal, and then they happened to score on their first one. But that's just an idea of how dominant our defense has been. That's all that would end up happening in the first period, although for a moment near the end of the first, Quinn Binney thought he had his first OHL goal, but it was ruled a play on, and there was no review. They showed the replay, and a few people, I think it was a little mixed, but it did end up not being a goal for Quinn Binney. It stayed 1-1 after 1. Aiden! All right, go Aids. Oh! Too strong, buddy. This guy's got the idea. That's good. Wow. Oh, these two kids are like shell shocked. I gotta follow that. No, not enough. Okay, not bad, but not enough. This guy got it. Don't beat him up, Aiden. Okay.
No, they're actually.
Yeah. Second period, the action would continue. Lawson Shirk would take a slashing call at the 2:17 mark, and then at the 3:31 mark, it was Ethan Del Mastro just squibbing one under the pads of Mateo Drobak. It would make its way through, give the assist on that one to Owen Beck and Kai Schwindt, and the Steelheads retook the lead. It was 2-1. A few more penalties interspersed in there. Finn Harding would take a slashing call. Ryan Humphrey would take a goalie interference call for Hamilton, his first of many in the game. We'll hear a little more on that later. But it was at the 17-16 mark in the second period that Kai Schwindt would beat Mateo Drobak for the first time. His first goal of the season. Give Owen Beck and Charlie Callahan the assist on that one, and you can make it 3-1 Steelheads. Little drama near the end of the second as Ryan Humphrey would make it a one-goal game again at the 18:48 mark. He gets his first of the season, give the assist on that one to Logan Morrison and to RANVIR GILL-SHANE, making it 3-2 Steelheads, but they would not be done in the period. With just 4 seconds to go, the Steelheads were on a last-minute rush, and it was Kai Schwindt again, beating Drobak just in time at the 19:56 mark, just 4 seconds to go. He's got his second of the game and his second of the season, and you can make it 4-2 Steelheads. So that last face-off after Kai Schwindt's second goal, which was basically a formality, would spark a bit of stuff with the Hamilton Bulldogs. Ryan Humphrey would get into it a bit with the Steelheads and was whistled for a roughing penalty right at the end of the period, so we would start the third with a power play and a 4-2 score. The second period would also be it for Hamilton's starting goalie Mateo Drobak. He would be pulled, and it would be Tristan Malboeuf in goal for Hamilton in the third. 6:45 now into the third period, Avery Hayes would take a slashing call, and Ryan Humphreys, who had been whistled for a couple of penalties himself by this point, decided to talk to the officials about that, and I guess the officials didn't like what he said. He was given a 10-minute misconduct for abusive official. So give the minor to Avery Hayes, and Steelheads would be on the power play again. Minute 45 later at the 8:30 mark, Florian Jacki, who is the younger brother of Arbor Jacki, who was a Bulldog last year and is now a Montreal Canadian, got a slashing call of his own. Again, he decided to discuss the call. He got a 10-minute misconduct as well. So it would be a 5-on-3 for 15 seconds and a big advantage for the Steelheads as now Humphreys and Jacki sitting for a while. Jacki actually left because, his time would eclipse the rest of the game. So Hamilton Bulldogs and the officials not making friends tonight. And then it happened at the 10:02 mark with Braden O'Keefe still serving Florian Jacki's minor. It was Kai Schwindt who would finish off the hat trick. His first 3 goals of the season, all coming in the same game. My first hat throw of the season. Give the assist on this one to Owen Beck, and the first of the season for Kasper Larsen. And you can make it a 5-2 Steelheads lead. Congratulations, Kai Schwindt. I've seen Cole do it. Now I've seen you do it. With the game pretty well in hand now, this is probably where I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Here are the remaining 3 Steelheads goals. Here we go. So an absolutely dominating effort by the Steelheads, beating the Hamilton Bulldogs 8-2, defeating the defending OHL champions, or what's left of them. The shots were 33-18 as well for the Steelheads, so pretty dominant in pretty much every aspect. Here are the 3 stars and the post-game.
No, Maestro and LUCA.
We did it,
Well, now I'm feeling wet. Yeah.
Do you think that some of their passes were a little bit off?
Yeah, they were off.
We're gonna tell them.
Luca's right there.
Luca. No. We asked Coach and he said that your passes were a little bit off. What do you think on your passes?
Not good.
Not good?
Not good.
Need to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
a lot more practice.
need to turn it.
When you were playing, you had a one-timer and you whipped. Do you think that it was still haunting? When you shot the puck.
I missed the net, I didn't whip
Yeah.
it.
Sorry.
Yeah, you missed
Yeah.
Place it. My bad.
I might miss a couple extra hours of sleep. Maybe I'll hit it next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure you score. You can have one on one shot.
Of course I can.
Okay.
Okay, next side.
Yeah.
That's okay.
At least at the
Just know,
Yeah.
just know if you
Owen
see
back.
it.
Alright, can you show
You rock, paper, scissors, and if you beat me, I'll give you a high five.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh no. He's trying to lose. There we go. Alright. Should have brought my tortilla.
Thank you.
Good night.
Well, I don't know if I can sign a Toronto jersey.
Oh, now it's David.
Oh no.
After the Montreal.
Just close your eyes.
Free agency is a thing.
That was funny. Are you guys happy with your 7-game winning streak?
No, they're mad about it. Yeah. We got this guy some media training. Right. Yep. Got the right shoes on? Yeah. Oh yeah. Good night, Kasper. Welcome back. Good game, Les. So with the victory against the Bulldogs in hand and now a 6-game win streak for the Steelheads, at this point we have not lost since Ethan Del Mastro and Owen Beck have come back. The Steelheads would make the trip north for their first match against the Barrie Colts since beating them in the first round last year. I do enjoy the Saturday evening games, by the way. It does suck that they're usually against the Leafs, but I do like being able to sleep in as long as I want and chill before I actually leave for the game. So maybe something to think about for the Steelheads, if they're, experimenting with new times. This would also be our first matchup against one of our players from last year, Callum Chisholm, who didn't make this year's team and ended up catching on with Barrie. So we'd see him for the first time since last year. Alessio Begliari would start for the Steelheads for the second straight night, and Barrie's starter was rookie Ben West. Anyway, here is some of the pregame. Let's get into it. Well, a view we've seen a million times here on Dale Howard-Chuck Way in Barrie. Here is Sadlin Arena, the home of the Barrie Colts. Last time we were here, the Steelheads won their first round playoff series against the Colts. On the flip side, it was the last game we would see them win in the 2021-2022 season. But we're back here in the usual spot. It's actually a pretty warm day. It's almost summerish, even though it's like the 22nd of October. But yeah, this is possibly the warmest I've ever seen Barrie. Not that I'm here in the summer or anything like that, but yeah. Just the run-of-the-mill trip to Barrie, but hey, it's Steelheads hockey. Let's see how we can do. What's that? After the warm-ups, anthems, and 2 ceremonial puck drops, yes, there were 2. I guess they double booked them or something. The puck would drop, and we would get underway. It would be the Barrie Colts striking first in this one. At the 4:51 mark, Luca BELLUZ would take a holding penalty, and towards the end of that, at the 6:04 mark, it would be Bo Jelsma beating Alessio Begliari. He scores his first of the season, give the assist to Ethan Cardwell and our old friend Callum Chisholm, and it would be 1-0 Colts. But the Steelheads would bounce back. Bo Akey would take a tripping call at the 8:42 mark, and then just after Akey got out, as he was trying to get back to the play, Owen Beck is able to beat Ben West. He scores his 5th of the season, give the assist to Ethan Del Mastro and Charlie Callahan, and we have a 1-1 game at the 10:47 mark. That was the last penalty that would happen in the first period. The penalties in this game were actually pretty light, but the goals would not be. Owen Beck would strike again at the 14:14 mark for his 2nd of the game, 6th of the season, give the assist to last night's other hero, SCHWINT, and Charlie Callahan with the other one. You can make it 2-1 Steelheads. Not long after that, at the 15:54 mark, another rush in the Barrie Colts end would result in the first goal of the season for Xander Vecchia. Owen Beck getting the assist on that one, and all of a sudden, it's 3-1. Steelheads weren't done in the first, though. Another one at the 17:21 mark. This time, it was Bryce Cooke scoring his first as a Steelhead since the trade from Niagara about 3 weeks ago. Give the assist on that one to Luke MISA and Ethan Del Mastro. You gotta imagine Ben West is pretty shell-shocked. He was removed after the first period, replaced by Anson Thornton. It would be 4-1 Steelheads after 1. A mostly uneventful second period. Anson Thornton would play a lot better than the man who replaced Ben West in net. Thornton, of course, played for the Sarnia Sting last year. There's just the one goal in the whole period. It would go to the Barrie Colts' Connor Punnett, who is a defenseman. Not a high-scoring defenseman, but he seems to score a lot against us. This would be Punnett's 2nd of the season, give the assist to Ronek Jodoin and Bo Akey. And after 2, it would be 4-2 Steelheads. Almost midway through the third period, though, at the 9:29 mark, it would be Luca BELLUZ restoring the 3-goal lead for the Mississauga Steelheads. He puts it past to Anson Thornton, the only Steelhead who would beat Anson Thornton today. Give the assist on that one to Zachary LAVOIE, and you can make it 5-2 Steelheads. But not long after that, things would start to bend a little bit in the Steelheads' defense. Bo Jelsma would get his 2nd of the game at the 12:27 mark. You can give the assist on that one to Ty York and Bo Akey, and all of a sudden, it's starting to look like a game again. Make it 5-3. At the 13:38 mark of the third period, we'd see our only penalties of the third period. A bit of a scrum would result in roughing calls on both Zachary LAVOIE and our old buddy Callum Chisholm. They would both go to the box. It would be 4-on-4 for a bit. Near the end of the 4-on-4, it would be Josh Kavanaugh scoring his first goal as a Barrie Colt. At the 15:19 mark, I give the assist to Ethan Cardwell and Hunter Hates, and all of a sudden, it's starting to look a little dicey. Kind of reminded me of the end of Game 6, which, we dominated early, and then the Colts started to fight back a little bit. It would be 5-4 Steelheads going into the final 2 minutes of the game. Unfortunately, guys, this game would not end the way Game 6 ended last year. In Game 6, we would get the empty netter and steal the victory. But in this one, at the 18:21 mark, Ethan Cardwell would end up tying it up. Assist on that one to Zach Weigel. And just like that, in a game we led 4-1 and 5-2, It was now 5-5. That was 1821. It was only a few seconds later, at 1844, that Ty York would break the tie and complete the comeback for the Barrie Colts. He scores his second of the season, give the assist to Bo Jelsma and Ian Lemieux, and the Steelheads are stunned to be down 6-5 with just a few minutes left. Try as they could, they had their chances. They still led the game in shots, 42-24, but the Steelheads would fall in this one as the Barrie Colts complete the stunning comeback and beat the Mississauga Steelheads by a score of 6-5. Here are the 3 stars from the game. I did see the guys briefly following the game, but I did not record a lot of pregame. I think they were still a little bit shell-shocked, so I kind of thought better of it. But here are the 3 stars.
Third star, with a goal, the game-winning goal and an assist from your Barrie Colts, number 23, Ty York. Second star, with a goal and 2 assists, also from your Barrie Colts, number 11, Ethan. Tonight's number 1 star, with 2 goals and an assist, from your Barrie Colts, number 53,
So if the Steelheads do pick up their first loss since the home opener, it would be the first loss for Alessio Beglieri in the OHL, but they still come out of the week with a very respectable 7-2 record, and, you know, that's still pretty good. Now the thing I kind of want to touch on tonight before I go, the cool thing about the OHL is how close you can get to the players, but that can also be one of the scariest parts. You know, as sports fans, we're competitive, you know, we support our team, we want our team to do well, and that can kind of turn into animosity towards the other team, which is normal, it's healthy, but it can go too far. In my years as a fan, I have seen a little bit of that disrespect towards our players. Like, there was a playoff game in Barrie. It wasn't last year. It was when we played Barrie in the playoffs 4 years ago. Barrie had just won the game, and there were some fans at the end who decided it would be fun to lean over our tunnel and spit at our players. Yeah, that's not good. And then there was some yelling outside the bus following that game as well. So the fans were a little crazy there. There was a spitting incident in Niagara as well that I remember. Last year, too, on the road, there was an instance of James Hardy being yelled at by a fan while he was trying to do his first star interview. It was relatively tame compared to some of the other things I've seen, but it was still pretty disrespectful. You know, James Hardy was having a hard time, like, hearing the interviewer because this guy was just going at it. I didn't put that in the video because even though this was relatively tame, it's not the kind of thing I want to promote. And what happens if I give attention to that kind of thing is people try to one-up it. You know, people watch it and they say, you know, if he put that in the video, he's going to put it in the video if I do it too. And I'm going to try and one-up it. I'm going to try and make it better. And then maybe you do get something that's a lot more disrespectful. So that's why I have shied away from that kind of thing. And I am talking about fan bases of other teams a lot. I'm not saying that I haven't seen Steelheads fans do some of this stuff too. So I'm not picking on any one individual fan base or 2 or 3 individual fan bases. I'm talking about everybody, guys. I mean, I think players understand if they see you wearing the jersey of the other team. Like, they're not going to get offended that you're not on their side. Like, they get it. Like, they know you're not cheering for them. And that's fine. Like, even 3 weeks ago when I saw Joe Ranger, I was like, hey, good luck. But not too much good luck, you know what I mean? Like, they get it. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little good-natured teasing, chirping, what have you. I remember last year when I saw the Ice Dogs, you know, warming up outside, playing their ball game. You know, they see me filming. One of them just kind of goes, "Go Ice Dogs!" You know, and, you know, I get that in the video, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's good-natured back and forth, you know? Like, they weren't doing it to be an ass. They were having fun. And isn't that what sports is really about? You know, having fun? The first Prospects game I went to was in Guelph, and we had 2 Steelheads participating in that one, Jacob Ingham and Ryan McLeod, and I had an Ingham jersey, as you know. So I was wearing that to the game, obviously. They had Guelph Storm players selling 50-50 tickets, and I decided to buy one off one of them, and he happens to say, like, hey, you're wearing the wrong jersey. Yeah. And, you know, I think my response to him was something like, hey, see you next week, because we were playing the Storm next week. You know, again, good-natured back and forth. Nothing wrong with that. So you can have a little good-natured back and forth, you know, as long as both sides, you know, are having fun with it. What does cross the line, though, is when it starts getting abusive and when players start feeling unsafe. And that's what occasionally worries me. Like, chirping is chirping, but when you get guys, you know, trying to climb into the tunnel, spitting, threatening fights, that's when it gets worrisome. You know, it is one of the things that makes the OHL a great league, that the players are accessible and, you know, easy to find. But when you have, you know, a guy who's had a few too many drinks and, you know, wants to be a tough guy, or, you know, maybe a dad who wants revenge for his kid getting hit, that's when it starts getting a little scary. And, you know, some arenas do have indoor bus loading areas like London did last week, but for most of them, the bus is outside, and, you know, the bus is a big blue map to where the Steelheads are about to be. So if you have any of those guys, you know, who get the wrong ideas, it can be tough to keep them away. You know, sometimes we as sports fans forget that, you know, these are not pro hockey players. They're at least not pro hockey players yet. They're not seeing any of the money that we're spending on them. They're just kids out there trying to have a good time. You know, they're not trying to hurt each other. Even when they fight, you know, it's more of a sporting thing than a, hey, I'm trying to kill this guy. So sometimes we just gotta temper our competitiveness and just have fun with it, you know? Anyway, the Steelheads have another 3-3 this coming weekend, this one all on the road. Friday, October 28th is the easy one. That's when they go into Guelph to take on the Guelph Storm at the Sleeman Center. And then Saturday, October 29th, they will cross into Michigan. They will take on the Saginaw Spirit that night, the first meeting between the MISA brothers, Luke and Michael. And then Sunday, October 30th, they will play the other Michigan team in Michigan. That is the Flint Firebirds. So Friday, Guelph, Saturday, Saginaw, Sunday, Flint. That is all happening this week. I will be at the Guelph game. I'm working on the Michigan trip as well. Yep, I want to go there. It'll be my first time. So we'll see what happens. Once again, I end by asking the OHL and CHL please allow the fair use of your professional and amateur footage. Help the small media so they can help you. Until next time, you can find me behind the bench and only the bench. This is Jordan signing off. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.